Hey everyone, it's Alex, and you're listening to the Everyday Stories podcast, a podcast about the everyday stories from the people you know and the people you don't know, here to help you learn a thing or two about life and the stories that define us. Today we're talking to Allie Eilish, who is a blogger, niche interest collector, and artist. She likes to read, crochet, journal, write, and attend pole dance classes. When not in front of a screen, she can be found hiking with her dog, Luna. And Luna, I believe, is somewhere in the room
She's
too.
in the back.
Perfect. Well, Allie, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. This
Oh
is
my gosh.
so cool.
Yes, I'm so excited to get into our conversation. And I know that you kind of sent me some things that you want to talk about before recording. And one of them was about how, you told me that you're a niche interest collector. And I need to know what that even means.
I think it's mostly like I just get random hyperfixations, and then I'll go deep and then kind of put them to the wayside, but they're always the best kind of like party stories. So like I know like one of the like weird things I sent you was like the 9/11 to Ellen show being canceled pipeline.
Yes. Okay. What was that?
So there's this whole like butterfly effect basically um that begins with 9/11 and then ends up all the way to the Ellen show being canceled. So it like is a domino effect. And it's goofy, it's silly. It has to do with Twilight and 50 Shades of Grey and
Can you give me the rundown? Give us the rundown of
yeah,
it, like the
yeah.
short version.
Okay. So, September 11th, 2001. Gerard Way,
I can't believe I'm laughing. I'm sorry.
setting the scene.
Okay, yes.
Gerard Way of the band My Chemical Romance is on a ferry to New York from New Jersey to go to work. He works at Cartoon Network Studios in New York. He sees 9/11. He sees the planes hit, and he has like this epiphany of like, what am I doing with my life? And goes off and starts the band My Chemical Romance. Um, My Chemical Romance, their very like first kind of like albums were very vampire-y. So Stephanie Meyer has stated directly that she got a lot of the inspo for Twilight based off of
My
My
Chemical
Chemical
Romance.
Romance, like vampire vibes.
Okay.
And then it's also been like well known and established that 50 Shades of Grey is kind of an offshoot of Twilight. Like it started off as Twilight fan fiction. So we have 50 Shades of Grey, 50 Shades of Grey movie with gosh, what's her name?
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Wait, I can look it up. I can look it up. 50 Shades of Grey was with wait, Dakota Johnson.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that gives her like her first kind of like breakout movie role.
Well, I know where
Dakota
you're going with
Johnson
this. I know where you're going with this.
goes on the Ellen show
Yes, Dakota Johnson goes on the Ellen show.
and just like it has her famous like, no, Ellen, that's not true. Reveals that Ellen lies and is like manipulative, and then all these op-eds come out from her crew about her being terrible. And I think that's what got the show canceled. Slash, she just kind of was like, "Oh, this is bad press. I'm kind of done." So that's like the like goofy.
The 9/11
Yes.
to Ellen getting canceled pipeline is the most insane thing, but it also makes so much sense. So you just said you went from 9/11 to My Chemical Romance to Twilight to 50 Shades to Dakota Johnson getting on Ellen and Ellen getting canceled.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
How did you learn that?
I am also like one of the biggest My Chemical Romance fans in the world. So it just kind of comes with learning about all the like random My Chemical Romance kind of stuff.
Oh, so you made up that pipeline.
No, that's like it's like a well-known like butterfly effect that people talked about and speculated about online for a while.
And you just found it.
Yeah, I like knew about some pieces of it. but there's probably like a full Reddit thread somewhere.
That is insane and so amazing and cool. It actually, that story makes me think about my friends and I in college. We used to play this game that was kind of like a word association, and we would always try to relate everything back to Portillo's. And for those who don't know what Portillo's is, it's this restaurant. Yeah, I think it's like a restaurant chain vibe that's based in Chicago. And my friend, my really good friend Claire, she is based in and around the Chicago area, loves Portillo's, brought us one time a Portillo's chocolate cake, and it was the most insanely good cake that I've ever had. So, so sweet, but I have a really big sweet tooth, so it hit. But we were playing a game where we tried to relate everything back to Portillo's. So the game was you could say whatever word you wanted to out in the world, and we would somehow try to find that word back to Portillo's. So that your pipeline of like, here are these random points of connection make me think about like the word association or the how everything is connected in this world.
Yeah.
But stating like 9/11 back to Ellen getting
Yeah, like not like the
yeah.
serious, the most like serious recent event in American, if not world history, to like the
Yes.
most trivial Hollywood bullshit.
Yes. Is that so? Do you have any other, like, what are your go-to party stories? I'm sure that's one of them. Do you have any
Yeah,
others?
that's like all of them are this is gonna be like so dark. Um my my very first boss was arrested for over 100 counts of child pornography. So
Wait, your
that's like,
boss?
yeah, like my first job ever, I worked at a pizza shop, and um he was like, he was really lovely, like would let us so like, Grubhub, everyone uses Grubhub.
Yeah.
On the receiving side, on the restaurant, they have their own account where they can see the orders. So he had it like attached to his cell phone. He would like no problem giving us his cell phone to look at for like the Grubhubs. He gave us keys to the building at one point to like open and close. So like, great job. Had it from like the last end of my junior year all the way up till I went to college. And then like November of college, I'm gearing up to like go home and work some like winter break shifts. And my dad sends me this article, and he's like, "Uh-oh, looks like you're out of a job." And he had been arrested for over 100 counts of child pornography. I know no follow up,
I was
except
gonna
that the
say,
restaurant closed. So
did people have like an inkling? Like, were there
no,
signs?
no, not at
He just got
all.
arrested.
Yeah, like it was just like one of those weird busts where I guess like the FBI or whoever was like, tracking IP addresses. Um, but no, it was so strange. And if anything, I thought he was kind of like creepy the opposite way. Cause like we had a like really shitty work bathroom, and there was like a pinup picture in it, and like all of us kind of ignored it.
Yeah.
So if anything, we thought he was like weird the other way. Um, so yeah, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
It's not.
Wait,
It's not. It's like one of those like two truths and a lie where no one would suspect it.
yes. Yes.
Um,
I love that though because it makes me think about I love okay, one of my favorite podcasts that I love listening to is called Normal Gossip. I don't know if you've heard of it. You actually might like it, but it's a podcast where people will just talk about like the everyday gossip,
mhm.
which is kind of similar in the direction that we're going into right now, where we're just like all these random stories about
Yeah,
gossip in like different areas of the world
I
and
love that.
our like interpretation of it. Because one of them, oh my gosh, I don't know if it was on Normal Gossip or me just randomly scrolling through Instagram, but I remember learning about how there was this therapist who was providing therapy for this woman who was talking about how she was like in an affair with this man. And the therapist ended up finding out that that woman was having an affair with her husband. Like it was the husband's
No.
or like the
No. Yeah.
therapist's husband
Husband
was having
was
the affair with
no.
like the person that she was treating. And obviously she was like, well, I'm supposed to, like what's the HIPAA thing or like
Yeah.
protection,
Yeah.
all that stuff. She's like, like how does one even navigate that? But that was just like one form of gossip where I was like, I can't even imagine what I would do in that situation. I also wanted to ask you too is what, as a niche interest collector, what's something that you've been obsessed with or interested in about lately, like currently?
Oh, right now it would probably be pole. Um, Either that or I've been really interested in getting into the like Philly craft scene right now. There are so many good like craft clubs going on in Philly right now. It's like this beautiful post-COVID renaissance of uh people getting together and actually like realizing that socialization is important. um so that's been like kind of something that I'm like always fiending for on Instagram, looking for people posting their events. Um, this like pottery studio just opened up near me. I like immediately like texted my mother. I was like, we're gonna go do pottery and it's gonna be great. And so those are like my two like current obsessions. To the point where like I have bought sticker paper to make my own journaling stickers. Um,
Oh, wait, that's
yeah.
so cool. So how did you get into pole?
My friend, like my lifelong best friend, Shar, started doing it about a year ago, I want to say. Um, and has like been telling me the whole time, like, this is so great. I'm really feeling like good about my body. It's legitimately a workout and it's fun. Um, and there is some like financial investment, so I've always kind of like put it off and um, then within the last like month or so, I've just been, oh, hey, very, yeah, I've just been like so out of shape. And I had this conversation with my sister literally yesterday of like, you don't realize when you're an adult that like you just sit the entire day. Like you're driving, you're sitting, you're at work, you're sitting, you go home, you sit on the couch to watch TV and eat dinner. And I was just getting stiff and sore. And essentially, long story short, was like, I need exercise that I'm actually going to enjoy and stick with. Um, so I took one class and fell in love, and now I think this is my second month doing it. And have already like been amazed at what I'm able to accomplish. So it's really, really something I would encourage like anyone to try out.
There needs to be more conversation about how pole is a form of exercise that is so unbelievably
Absolutely.
difficult.
Absolutely.
I um so I actually just got a one-on-one, I wouldn't say like a one-on-one pole class, but it kind of was that
Yeah, yeah.
through my friend that I met at a cookbook club. And she told me that um, she went to the London School of Economics and they have a pole dancing team or like a pole dancing competition team.
Right.
And so, like, they literally trained and then they would perform or compete for prizes. I actually don't know the whole story about it, but she became obsessed with pole then and still does it today. But the stuff that she can do and what she was teaching me, I was like, I'm terrible at this. Like, you need so much strength to like
So much.
throw your body around. Also, it's so painful because you're trying to grip the pole and like your skin is rubbing up against the metal. It was like, it's so wild. And so anyone that can do pole and make it look like beautiful and sexy, I have so much respect for because gosh, it is so hard. And I by the end, like the next day I was sore. My forearms were like in so much pain. Like I just like the inner thighs of like trying to grip the pole with my thighs. I think I just need to do it more consistently was what I realized if I would want to feel that pain less. But yeah, it's a lot on the body. So I love this journey for you.
Thank you.
This pole
Yeah.
journey.
I'm like my studio does levels, so I'm in level 1. And even like baseline to test out, you have to be able to do 20 push-ups and 20 triceps dips. Like you have to be able to like do these things to even go up to the next level. So they really like make sure that you are um, building up your strength to be able to like do things safely as
Yeah.
well. So
Wow. Are you at the 20 push-ups, 20 tricep dips?
no, no, I'm getting there. I'm more of a core strength person, so I
Mm.
got noodle arms, but we're
It's okay.
working
You'll
on it.
get there. You'll
Yeah,
get
we're
there.
working on
Oh my
it.
goodness. I also know that some of the things that you sent me before our podcast recording was talking about the early Tumblr and early YouTube days. What were those early days like for you?
I mean, those, besides the fact that the internet was just fully lawless, for me, like as a like really nerdy, socially awkward and introverted kid, gave me a place to like really explore my creativity. As well as I thought it was a great way to connect with other people. I mean, we've seen um memes just explode. It's become like a dictionary word at this point, where back when I was a child, a teen, like that was just how we were expressing our ideas. Like we didn't really think of it as like I'm gonna send like a meme. It was just, here's something that I thought you would like. I don't know. It really was like foundational to me in a weird way.
Oh,
Um in terms of like interests, and connecting with other people, especially people outside of like my town and demographic. It was a really great way to, yeah, to do all that. But at the same point, like I was saying, just fully lawless place. We definitely, us, like 12-year-olds should not have been watching like South Park clips on YouTube at the public library, but
so it
alas.
goes. So it goes. Wait, so what were some of the accounts that you followed or like the content that you watched on YouTube or the things that you followed on Tumblr?
Oh gosh. So I was really into Charlie the Unicorn, to the point where I had a Charlie the Unicorn shirt from Hot Topic. Um, yeah. This was back when Hot Topic would sell like YouTube merch that wasn't Mr. Beast. Uh, so like,
Insane.
yeah, so like Charlie the Unicorn, Fred, of course, Annoying Orange, Ray William Johnson equals 3. I was thinking of that the other day. Um, Jenna Marbles, of course.
Classic.
Classic. I I was falling asleep last night, and I was like, I wonder what Bethany Moda's up to these days.
Wait, who's Bethany Mode?
Bethany Moda, she was like
Moda.
one of the like first beauty gurus on YouTube. She had a collaboration with Aeropastel in like 2010, maybe. Like one of the like very first beauty guru, like beauty, like YouTube, like big brand collabs that at least I can remember.
Goodness. I So it was at the time of this recording, it's actually my roommate's birthday today. But last night we had a birthday party for them at our place, and the theme was 2015 swag. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because 2015 was a time where everyone was kind of dressed like a little emo. There was a lot of the sunglasses where we pop out the frames and just wear
Mm-hmm.
it as is, or
Yeah.
we wore like a lot of plaid or skinny jean vibes,
The hipsters.
or like the chunky necklace or chokers, all 2015, at least like the style around that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And we were talking about um, like what we would put on our projector screen in terms of like a background for the party. And we were thinking about, do you remember, or anyone else listening, remember the time where all of these schools would do these lip sync music videos where it was like a one shot take, and it would be the entire school is involved, and you'd have like one videographer that is playing like I don't even know what songs, like the like What Makes You Beautiful, One Direction, and you would lip sync it, and they would go through like they would go through the
Oh, I
science
know
lab
exactly
and the
what you're talking about.
gym and like through the hallways and lockers, and it would be like all these extravagant things where like all these different types of like extracurricular teams and activities would be involved. It just like makes me think about I how much I loved YouTube back in those days of just like those types of videos, or like mannequin challenge, or maybe that's not 2015, maybe that's more like 2012 vibes. But anyways, just having like those old like early day YouTube was like tier content, peak tier content on the platform, because I don't know if we'll ever get back to that. There's also so much content out there nowadays that I don't even know what's left and right.
Yeah. But I think like to your point of like that genre was so like creative. Like people were not doing the long one shot before that, or at least not like, you know, us normal folks and outside of Hollywood. Um, or like I remember the one thing that like the video I saw that was like, this is insane. I can't believe they did this, was the OK Go treadmill music video.
Yes.
Like that blew my mind. And it still does to this day. Like how they came up with that and shot it, and it's wow, like
The music videos back in the day were so good. And I really think we're big like cultural touch points in terms of like the trends that we followed were like through music videos. I also wanted to, were you ever on Vine?
on Vine, yeah.
Okay, this is very niche. And people who were even on Vine, like friends of mine who I've asked, like, do you know what this was? And nobody knew, but I was like a big Viner. I loved Vine. I thought it was so fun. I always wish we could bring it back. But there was this trend, and so like, yeah, like nobody knows about this. But for those who do, it's techno waffle frisbee.
I don't know.
Okay, nobody knows this.
Sorry.
This is like the niche of Vine. This is how deep I got into Vine. But there was one point, I don't know if it was an account or just like a trend in general, but Techno Waffle Frisbee was a guy. It would be like two people. One is driving, one is like the passenger. But I think the person was honestly like driving while also like recording
Oh
maybe, or
gosh.
maybe vice versa.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's when the internet was lawless. And this there would be a person playing like techno music, house music, dubstep, where it was like bam, 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 with like a really big beat. And he had a stack of Eggo waffles, like frozen waffles.
Yeah.
And the window would be open on the passenger side of the door. And at the beat, he would whip out the waffles. He'd go boom, 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 and like throw out the frozen waffles out the door. And for some reason, I was so drawn to those vines. Like I watched all of them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I still think about it to this day, and nobody ever knows what I'm talking about. But look up
Yeah,
online
no,
Techno Waffle Frisbee Vine, and
that's
you'll
so
know what I'm
fun. Oh my
saying.
gosh, that's so funny.
Because that to me was like one of my all-time favorite like Vine trends was Techno Waffle Frisbee.
That's so
And one day I will recreate it and throw frozen waffles outside the passenger door of a car. Um, it was it was like amazing. But I love all those like little small niche internet trends, which
mhm.
we could get into a whole conversation about internet trends and how they're so like quickly coming and going nowadays. We don't have time for it because we're at time. Allie, thank you for hopping on the podcast. I do like to end each episode one with a quote, but also there's this question that I've been asking everyone. And the question is, and also it's not really related to anything that we talked about, but the
Okay.
question is, what have you learned over the past year that you're going to take into your new year of life?
Ooh, wow, that's a good one. Um, my sister just moved to Boston, and it's like the first time that we've ever not been in the same state. Um, and I think one of the things that I've learned is you actually have to call your family.
Mm.
As an adult, you can't just rely on seeing them every day. So that's definitely something that I am taking into this year and making a priority because it's definitely not something that I have been making a priority. Um,
But you
I
can
love my
now.
family. Yeah.
Everyone listening and tuning into the podcast, call your loved ones. Call at least one after listening to this. I'm sure that the person on the other end will be grateful for it.
Yeah.
And then the quote that I have, so I don't even, I'll just say the quote. The quote is to find interesting ideas, look for people at the intersection of two fields which rarely overlap. Because I think that's how you can find a lot of niche interests or niche trends is through finding these like really rare overlapping things. Like as you said, 9/11 and circling back, going back to the beginning of our podcast
Yep.
episode, 9/11 and Ellen getting canceled and the show ending. So find two things that rarely overlap and you're going to find some interesting ideas. And that quote was from David Perel. Thank you, Allie, again for hopping on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
I so appreciate our conversation. Our lore was spilled. It was a lot of banter, but I hope people really found this one like a very exciting, entertaining podcast episode.